We are aware, beloved Prime Creator, that we are here for a reason, that we chose to be here at this time, or is it that we are the chosen ones courageous enough or motivated enough to do the lifting required to help turn things around? Right now, life is handing us a boatload of issues to learn of, to know of, or to do something about. Doing this work among the fellow aware is essential when so very many are oblivious, or choose to be, of the depth and duration of satanic evil that is now more obviously than ever permeating our every institution, mode of entertainment, our food, our air and water, a full-fledged assault designed to eliminate life itself, even as we know and treasure it. Our days spent addressing these matters are days well spent. No time for idolatry, no time to be wasted on the superficial when the evil is deep below the surface and rising. Our tasks are many and intense, and yet we must balance them with some ease and joy. We can rest easy, knowing we are in the important space of 0 point. All the while, riots and insanity infringe. Calm and steady, we address persistently and sincerely, reasonably and rationally, what others fail to see or place in check. While others are acting out and out of control, we demonstrate the vast difference between reacting and responding. This is balance. This is mindful regard. This is measured and wise. Creator energy, when called in, never fails to provide us focus and purpose, support and grace to respond in wisdom and balance. We chose this, or we were chosen for this. Either way, let us keep our wits about us at all times as we head into this period of tremendous change and turmoil. While the world seems to be running amok, claim your 0 point position. Be in the flow. Celebrate what you know. Hold steady now. Let it be so. And so it is.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I was looking at some information. I want to relate this to Oregon. Our 36 sheriffs on Oregon are operating like a gulag, or 36 gulags. And the reason I bring this up is from Solzhenitsyn's book. I've read parts of it, but he said something along the lines of all of the people in the gulag knew that the authority was bogus. And all of the authority knew they were bogus. And the bogus authority knew that the prisoners they were keeping knew they were bogus. And the prisoners knew that the authorities knew that the prisoners knew that the authority was bogus. They all knew, and everybody knew, the other ones knew, and they continued to do it. That's what we have on Oregon. We have 36 sheriffs that all know because we told them. And it wasn't just tell them, hey, you guys are doing it wrong. We did it through a grand jury. We did it through a trial jury. We did it by posting the verdicts on their bulletin boards, 9 of them, and keeping it posted for 60 days. And we showed them what a proper oath looked like, and it was on the bulletin board for 60 days, and not one of them cleaned up their act. They're all still criminally involved with the Oregon State Bar. And they know it, and we know they know it, and they know we know it. And they will not correct. So, what's the next step on that one? That gets really difficult to figure out. We think so far that the proper way to do this is to offer the 36 sheriffs the opportunity to self-correct. They know the error. They didn't make the original fraud. They're stuck in it like everybody else. And maybe a lot of the attorneys don't want to be stuck in the fraud either. But the de facto's the only thing going, so that's what they do. Maybe we can always hope. Hopium's good. But the sheriffs know, and 9 of them are being dealt with individually and have been for several months, and not one proper oath. Not one of them has met the requirements of ORS 206. We do not have the proper work from DPSST. The whole thing is a lie, and it has to be cleaned up one step at a time. The next step is for the sheriffs to take a proper oath to the proper constitutions with the laws of nature and nature's God included, and then do it. The sheriff provides patrol out on the streets, the highways and byways and waterways on Oregon. That's a good thing. However, many of the deputies think that the population is a cash cow and they can stop them like they did Kim. She doesn't have a license plate showing on her car. However, a license plate on a car is not required, and they know it. And the legislature wrote it in such a way as to deceive, not to help us, but to deceive us, to convince us all that we must act like commerce. And in commerce, they can control. We are not in Congress. Pardon me, commerce. We are free men and women, sovereign, without ruler and without subject. So, if you don't hurt anybody and you don't destroy or damage property, you have not done anything wrong. However, if you're acting a fool, driving fast, causing confusion and danger on the highway, and you don't hit anybody, and you don't cause any damage, but in your wake you leave havoc and chaos, well then you're causing damage. You're causing problems that need to be addressed. But until you do that, you are not. You do not have an authority. It takes firsthand knowledge that you actually hurt somebody, or damage something. That firsthand knowledge has to go to the arresting officer and they have to arrest you. That's legit. The next way is a wet ink signature from a judge. Now, how do you get a judge? We haven't had a judge on Oregon lawfully and legitimately since 1910. We've had color of law. And all the cops and all the sheriffs and the Oregon State Police and the Oregon National Guard Provost Marshal, they all go along with the fraud. Now, if what I am saying and doing with the rest of the members in the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly is wrong, why do they not rebut us? Why does somebody not say, Ron, you're wrong and here's the evidence? Because we're not wrong. We look them in the eye and they fold. One of our members is dealing with Douglas County. And the sheriffs on patrol, the deputies, last September pulled her over for not displaying plates, which she had in the car, but she's allowed to travel and she does not have to drive. She does not have to be a 13th Amendment citizen with privileges. She can be an Oregonian, a woman on the land and soil, sovereign, without ruler and without subject. All she has to do is be, and that is who she is, provided she has her paperwork in order so that she can support her claim. You can't just say it. You have to support it. We were in the Douglas County Justice of the Peace office in Canyon City or Canyonville the other day. I asked the two deputies that were in the office, and I asked the clerk of the court the same question. Is this a legitimate court where a person with a concealed carry permit cannot carry? Because this is a court. They said, why, of course it is. And I said, good. Would you provide me the supporting evidence? And let me get this correct. She showed me a card. Anybody can print a card. It's not evidence. She says, we'll look at the sign on the building. Anybody can rent a building and anybody can put up a sign. Where's the evidence? She didn't have any. All she had was conversation and a black robe to put on. She's not a member of the bar. She's not an attorney. She was elected. The first time, or maybe the second time, Kim met with the Justice of the Peace, Mayfield. She got Mayfield's oath, and it's a pretty good oath. However, it's not correct. And if it's not correct, it's not an oath. It's simulating a legal action. That's illegal. in the ORS. You can't just say something. You have to be able to legitimately support it. That's why all of our documents, all of our instruments are signed, sealed, stamped, witnessed with proof of service, and they're published. And without rebuttal for 7 years. Now, each time we publish, and it goes 30 days without rebuttal, and you have proof of service to those who could rebut, then you have a fact. And we have 7 years of facts. And we just went to court the other day. And I'd like to read you my response to what happened. I'm going to ask William to show Kim's claim of cognizance that was filed into that court, and they had it. And I would like to show the dismissal from the Justice of the Peace from Douglas County on the screen, and show what I'm going to read on the screen. And I'll put this on the record so that we have proof. The title of it is, Today Our Court Met with Michelle Briggs Mayfield, Justice of the Peace, Douglas County. And I sent this to the DA on Douglas County and several other people on Douglas County, and to a bunch in the Oregon state of Oregon, all caps state of Oregon, and the counties and the sheriffs and the secretaries of state. They all know. This says, thank you, Michelle. We appreciate our visit and recorded an after-action report for our record. www.orsja.org. Article 3, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction. Article 7, Amendment 7, Civilian Common Law Court of Record, assembled with 3 tribunals, 1 clerk, and 1 marshal, and heard testimony from Ron Vroman and Michelle Biggs Mayfield in open court. At issue, it is not agree to disagree. We were testifying, Michelle and I, in her courtroom, one-on-one, and I made some statements that were fact, and she disagreed. And it is not agree or disagree. This is about law, not opinion. The law on Oregon is exactly Oregon's Constitution circa 1859, the United States of America's Constitution circa 1859, with Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, 2-volume, 1856 for definitions. Anything other identified in law is an addition to that and will require supporting evidence. Evidence, not business cards or a sign on the wall. That Bouvier's is printed on Troutdale, Oregon, and is available on Amazon. It is well worth the price. If you are in a patriot movement of any kind, you should have Bouvier's 1856, nothing else. At issue, your oath, Michelle, that you supplied Kim has one flaw or error. It does not specify which constitution specifically by date. Any constitution printed after November 8, 1910 may contain Article 7 amended. There is no evidence that Article 7 amended is jure. There is a preponderance of evidence that it is de facto. If there is, it is, pardon me, it is there, and it is illegal or illegitimate. That's the definition of de facto. It becomes a non-issue when we use the original jurisdiction, Article 7, of the actual original jurisdiction documents of our statehood. As you are not on Oregon State Bar attorney with an oath to a foreign agent, you would not have their issues and can properly comply. She's not a bar attorney. She can take a proper oath. Fact. Article 7 amended is bogus. Oregon's Constitution, published after 1910, nullifies Amendment 7 of our Bill of Rights. That is not even reasonable to consider. Void from the beginning. Amendment 7 requires suits in common law. Trial juries require 12. Article 7 amended requires 6 and is not in common law. At issue, there are two jurisdictions on Oregon. There is the 13th Amendment citizens of the United States with all privileges and benefits of a U.S. citizen. They are identified by their all caps name. Then there are men and women with our progeny, without ruler or subject, sovereign. Jura summa imperii, with all of their unalienable rights guaranteed by our Constitution, circa 1859. We are no longer deceived. So it is law, not opinion, that we can agree or disagree. Kim is not in your jurisdiction, nor that of Douglas County Sheriff's Office, or that of the DA, or their bogus amendment de facto color of law form. To put Kim in cuffs on the side of the road, 1, firsthand knowledge that Kim hurt someone or damaged their property. 2, wedding signature from a court's lawful judge on a warrant. Now, lawful judge, that's a hard one. We haven't had a lawful judge on Oregon since 1910. 3, a true bill from a grand jury. The 2 Douglas County employees of the Office of Sheriff violated Kim's rights of due process codified in 18 U.S.C. 3571. They had none of the three options, thus incontrovertibly violated due process. That is a $150,000 penalty to Kim, times 2. At issue, the DA's office knew in September of Kim's claim of cognisance, and it was acquiesced to 3 times in common law, and after 30 days without rebuttal, it becomes fact in your de facto color of law form. So, as soon as it reached your office, you had access to the evidence that you had no jurisdiction, and you got it from the DA's office, so they knew, and still you persisted until today, when the DA defaulted and you acquiesced. That is a due process violation on you and the DA. None of that is opinion, where one may agree or disagree. This will be entered into evidence in our Amendment 7 trial jury, as the value is over $20. When our court has a jury verdict on this evidence for awards to Kim, we will notify all concerned for payment. Please use this opportunity to enter information into our court. Article 1, Supreme Court claiming, Article 3, 1 Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction. Article 7, Amendment 7, Civilian Common Law Court of Record. You have to get that right, or it's something else, and something else is wrong. Having implemented Ex parte Milligan, nullifying martial law, Libre Code, FEMA, on the land and soil on Oregon, with Article 1, Section 1, the Social Compact, aka Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, the provisional government on Oregon. I follow that with my living testimony in the form of an affidavit of truth, and that's been built over several years. The boilerplate has been acquiesced to multiple times, and you have to have all the boilerplate. Then full faith and credit governing laws established. If you don't establish governing law, then you don't have it. You have something else. Then this communique is not intended to mislead, defraud, deceive, or threaten in any way, and is submitted in good faith with clean hands. And I yield.
Hi, my name is Charlie White. I'm with the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. We've been reaching out to our local sheriffs for quite some time, requesting a proper oath. Where are you? For the last several months, we have posted and made available what we worked on as a proper oath for the persons in our governance. We've posted them on public bulletin boards repeatedly for a month at a time. Sheriffs are our first effort at our assisting on a proper oath, for it is the sheriffs who are here in their county position to protect and defend the people. Protect from what? Some might say. From ticketing or sending people to the illegitimate amended Article 7 courts that should not be. From governance overreach and taxation that they should assist seniors in the prevention of their eviction from their loss of equity and their forever home and all they possess. These are just two examples. Our Article 3, Amendment 7 Civilian Common Law Court of Record has made numerous visits and relentless communications to our county sheriffs on Oregon to offer a remedy for victimization of the people. That's how they feel. How? You might ask, it's like a shift in the mind. It is the recognition of one's allegiance to life and that which is God-given. Rather than criminalizing living God-made beings for a dead corporate entity, our sheriffs are our first protection against governance overreach. The significance of elected government officials taking a proper oath to the original jurisdiction Constitution circa 1859 is a tremendous recognition. The oath, then, is a promise to our God self, to our Creator God, and to people, not persons. Such a dejuration, taking a solemn oath, is needed for there to be remedy in our authoritative system of governance. Once a sheriff can make the shift, they can see themselves among the people rather than a corporate entity meant to enforce our compliance to the bidding of the state. This cognition promises to be a release of tension, greater freedom, and cooperation. Let it be so.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying, and then he jumps out of the car. he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.